September 6, 1976. Soviet airbase near Vladivostok. Lieutenant Viktor Belenko climbs into his MiG-25 Foxbat. It's the USSR's most advanced fighter. Top speed, classified. Ceiling, classified. Capabilities, classified. The West knows almost nothing about it. Belenko's mission today is routine. Training flight, 30 minutes in the air. Practice interceptions, then land. But Belenko has a different plan. He's going to defect, steal the Soviet Union's most secret weapon, fly it to Japan, and hand it to the Americans. This is the story of the most daring defection of the Cold War and the intelligence coup that humiliated the USSR. The MiG-25 Foxbat was a mystery to Western intelligence. They knew it existed, knew it could fly Mach 3, knew it could reach 80,000 feet, but they didn't know how. Was it made of titanium? Did it have advanced stealth? Revolutionary electronics? The Soviets guarded the Foxbat like a nuclear secret. No photographs, no defectors, nothing. Viktor Belenko was one of the elite, MiG-25 pilot. 29 years old, handpicked, trained for years. Trusted completely. But Belenko hated the Soviet system. The lies, corruption. The propaganda that claimed the USSR was paradise while people stood in breadlines. He'd been planning his escape for 2 years, waiting for the perfect moment. Today was that moment. At 1300 hours, Belenko takes off, climbs to 30,000 feet, flies his assigned patrol route. Then, at the northern tip of his patrol, he turns south toward Japan. Soviet air defense radar spots the turn immediately. Foxbat 27, you are off course. Return to assigned heading. Belenko doesn't respond. He pushes the throttles to full military power. The MiG-25 accelerates. Mach 1, Mach 1.5, Mach 2. He's running. Soviet ground control goes ballistic. Foxbat 27, you are ordered to return to base immediately. Nothing. Foxbat 27, if you do not comply, you will be shot down. Belenko switches off his radio. 2 MiG-23 fighters scramble from a nearby base. Their orders are clear. Shoot them down. But the MiG-25 is faster. By the time the MiG-23s reach altitude, Belenko is already 100 miles away. The Soviets have one more option: surface-to-air missiles. They launch 2 missiles at him. SA-5 Gammons, Mach 3.5. Closing fast, Belenko sees them on his radar warning receiver. 2 missiles, tracking him. He dives. Drops from 30,000 feet to 500 feet in 30 seconds. The missiles lose lock. Can't track him at low altitude. He levels out, 50 feet above the ocean, flying Mach 1.2 on the deck. Afterburners screaming. The Soviet border falls behind him. Japanese airspace ahead, but he has a problem. Fuel. The MiG-25 is a fuel hog. At full power at low altitude, he's burning fuel at an insane rate. He has maybe 10 minutes left. He needs an airfield. Fast, Japanese radar picks him up. Unidentified aircraft, you are entering Japanese airspace. Identify yourself immediately. Belenko switches to the international emergency frequency. In broken English, I am Soviet pilot. I want asylum. I need land. Now the Japanese controller is stunned. Doesn't know what to say? Say again. I am Soviet pilot. Defecting. Where is airfield? The controller gives him vectors to Hakodate Airport, a civilian field on the northern island of Hokkaido. Belenko pushes the dying MiG toward the coordinates. At 3 miles out, his fuel warning light comes on. Red, blinking. He has maybe 2 minutes of fuel left. He lines up with the runway. No time for a proper approach. No time for landing checklist. He just points the nose at the concrete and descends. Fast, at 200 feet, the engine flames out. No fuel. The MiG is gliding now. No engines, no power. Just momentum. Belenko pulls the nose up. flares. The wheels hit the runway, hard. The plane bounces, hits again, rolls. He stands on the brakes. No hydraulics, no anti-skid, just friction. The MiG skids, rubber burning. Finally stops, 50 feet from the end of the runway. Belenko pops the canopy, climbs out. Japanese police are already surrounding the plane. Guns drawn, Belenko raises his hands. In English, "I want asylum in United States." The Japanese arrest him, not as a criminal, as a defector. They call the American embassy immediately. Within 2 hours, CIA agents are on a plane to Japan. Within 24 hours, they're examining the MiG-25. What they find shocks them. The MiG isn't made of titanium, it's made of steel. Heavy, primitive steel. The electronics aren't advanced, they're vacuum tubes. Technology from the 1950s. The radar isn't sophisticated, it's brute force. Massive power but crude design. The engines aren't efficient. They're afterburning turbojets that consume fuel like a bonfire. The MiG-25 isn't a technological marvel. It's a flying brick with massive engines, but it works. It can fly Mach 3 because it has so much thrust it doesn't need to be aerodynamic. It's not elegant, but it's effective. American engineers are stunned. The Soviets had built a plane that violated every principle of efficient design and made it work through sheer brute force. The intelligence is priceless. American analysts spend 6 weeks dismantling the MiG, photographing every component, testing every system, measuring every dimension. Then they reassemble it, and give it back to the Soviets, with a bill for runway damage. The Soviets are humiliated. Their most secret weapon has been compromised. They redesigned the entire MiG-25 fleet, change the electronics, modify the engines, alter the tactics. It costs them billions of rubles. Viktor Belenko is granted asylum in the United States. The CIA gives him a new identity, a new life. For years, he lives in hiding, debriefing intelligence officers, teaching American pilots how to fight the MiG. In 1980, the CIA allows him to go public. Belenko writes a book, gives interviews, becomes an American citizen. In one interview, a reporter asks, "Do you regret defecting? You lost everything, your family, your country, your career." Belenko smiles. "I lost a lie. I gained the truth. In the Soviet Union, I was a prisoner with a pilot's license. In America, I'm free. That's worth everything." Another reporter asks, "What was the scariest part?" Belenko doesn't hesitate. "The 10 seconds after I landed, before the Japanese police arrived. I thought the Soviets might have sent fighters to shoot me on the ground. Those 10 seconds were the longest of my life." Viktor Belenko is still alive today. He's 76 years old, lives in the United States, works as an aerospace consultant, and he still flies. Small planes, civilian aircraft. He says flying in America is different than flying in the USSR. In the Soviet Union, I flew because I was ordered to. In America, I fly because I want to. That's freedom. That's the story of the defector who stole the MiG. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fighting for your country, it's fighting against it. That's the story they never taught you in school. If you want more untold stories of World War II's bravest pilots, subscribe now. New mission drops every week. Which hero should we honor next? Tell me in the comments. Fly safe.